Welcome back to Gaming Unscripted. This is Rob.
And this is Joe.
And today we are going to be playing a horror adventure game by Benjamin Rivers called Home. We should be able to beat it in one episode, I hope. Maybe two at the most, very most. It's creepy. Play it with the lights off and your headphones on. All I remember is that point was finding myself alone. All I remember at that point. Oh, my head. Where was I? It was so dark. There was something by my feet. A flashlight.
Do we have to whisper?
No, we don't have to whisper. Alright, so it's very pixelated.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's creepy.
Sounds like we're going back to 8-bit.
And yes, we are going back to 8-bit.
Mm-hmm.
That house where I was. So you can move the light around a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
There was a body lying on the floor. Who was it?
And a cat. Is that the only actions you're allowed to do? Go up and down?
Yeah.
Really?
It's very, very basic, but creepy. The desk had a computer and some papers on it. A single drawer. I didn't want to snoop, but did I open the drawer?
Yeah, absolutely.
This affects the game.
Okay. Well, you have to know something.
Receipts, pens, a blurry photo. Looked like a store of some kind. Why did this look so familiar? Blood on the wall? It smelled fresh and sickening.
Ugh.
I realized there was blood on my shoes and pants. Oh man, I had to get out of there. I noticed that I limped as I moved down the stairs. How did I hurt my leg? I wondered. All I could really recall was coming home, seeing Rachel. I was upset. She looked afraid. I shook my head and tried to clear it. I knew I should head downstairs, try to find a way out. So this game does have multiple endings.
And multiple scenarios, it sounds like.
Kind of. The shelf was full of books on local history and hunting. Seemed like the owner of the house really knew the area.
Okay.
An old dining table covered in dirty dishes for two people. There were dozens of beer cans and other liquor bottles among the dishes. The smell was turning my stomach.
Ugh. Okay. Sounds like a party.
A black and white photo looked like the man upstairs and his wife. I guess there was no reason to keep this. Did I take it?
Nope.
I figured this was no help to me, so I left it behind. A thin gray mouse was stuck in a trap. It looked frantic but exhausted. Did I free it?
Nope. Sorry, I just don't like mouse.
Yeah. A collection of rusty tools. These looked like they'd seen a lot of use and were caked in damp-smelling dirt. Why weren't they in a shed?
Good question. Why are they indoor? The plants, maybe.
I found a picture of a couple. It looked like it had been moved a lot. There seemed to be a switch behind it. Did I push the switch?
Yep.
It depressed smoothly into the wall. I heard a faraway click somewhere. Something must have opened somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Just double checking that we didn't miss a door.
Well, not only that, would it tell you?
What?
Well, now that you depress the button, is there some other indication?
No.
So you have to kind of find it regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You have to kind of poke around.
Ah.
The front door was blocked by a pile of furniture. I knew I had to find another way out.
Too bad you can't push it.
The bathroom was incredibly clean. Every surface had been thoroughly wiped, and nothing seemed out of place.
It sounds suspicious.
There was a photo development tray lying on the floor. Some leftover negatives were sticking out, but they were pretty blurry. I thought I saw what looked like treetops.
So this is a game with its own narrative, really. Okay.
Door was taped and seemed to be stuck, but the smell, I guessed it led to the kitchen.
Pardon me.
The box looked heavy, but there were marks on the floor. It had obviously been moved before. Maybe I had found a way out. I must have moved it, right?
Yeah, I would.
I heaved the box forward, and it finally gave.
Ladder.
There was a ladder going underground. Where the box was, a dank smell rose from the passage. Did I climb down the ladder?
I'm going to say yes, considering I haven't really found anything different.
My leg hurt like hell as I climbed down the ladder. The tunnel below was even darker, and the smell wasn't getting any better. But I had to get out of there and find my way home.
What are you carrying, by the way?
I'm not sure. The footprints in the dirt looked like more than one kind. A lot of traffic. Maybe a flashlight, maybe a phone. Places all over were marked on the old map of town. The industrial area near the river, various houses, and even the water tower near the old rail station. Newspaper clippings from the local paper. They were all about murders in town over the last few years.
Oh, great.
Wait. There were photos. Photos of our house. What the hell was that about? Maybe I should have looked around more, tried to find some kind of information.
So now you want to go back?
Nope. A work table covered in papers, dirt, and a handgun. I hated guns. I didn't take it, did I?
I'm going to say no.
I didn't even want to touch the thing. Better I left it right where it was. It was so dark down there, and the air smelled stale and putrid. I couldn't believe what I saw. What was this place?
No kidding.
Some kind of homemade rack, slung together with poorly cut wood and rope. It was caked with old blood. Somebody didn't actually use that, did they?
Ugh.
The desk looked old and was caked with grime. On it was a stack of old faded paper, covered with what looked like names. They were scratched out and illegible. Notes were written beside them in faded blue ink. I could only make out a few letters. H, iv, a, h, l, f, ol, ro.
That sounds like name.
None of it made any sense to me. There looked to be bones, half dug into the ground, and the remains looked old. Who put them here? Crudely made shelves, they looked like they were holding cans of some kind, of corrosive. The labels were worn and slick, but I could still see the warnings. It looked like a cage. It was small, but there was something coating the bottom, something wet. Some kind of old boxes. They looked like they were years old. Wait a minute. These boxes had old clothes in them. Clothes I remembered throwing out after Rachel and I moved to town. What the hell were they doing down here?
Are you at the bottom of this house?
I'm not sure where we are exactly.
Okay. Bats? Rats? Bats.
I remembered noticing the broken ladder. I had to be careful. There was a rope hanging there. I wasn't sure how sturdy it was. Did I take it?
I say yeah.
Maybe the rope would make that broken ladder easier to descend.
Is that a whisper?
Whisper, whisper, whisper.
Someone took the rope.
The rope I found would have let me climb down the broken ladder safely. Did I climb down?
Yes, you did.
I could hear a faint hum, and the smell from before started to get worse. bunch of old newspapers, wheat pasted together. A message had been hastily smeared on it. Keep out. Danger due to cave-in.
Great. Definitely got louder.
My hands tingled from the burn of sliding down that rope. It was lucky I found that. Who knows what would have happened if I had jumped down. Still, it was all I could do to not have rushed out of that awful place. That rack, those terrible tools. What the hell was going on back there? The metal door groaned as I leaned into it, causing my heart to skip a beat at the sound. As I peered ahead into the dark of the next room, I worried that I should have taken the gun I saw. But me? With a gun? An exposed ventilation shaft. Maybe someone crawled through there, but it was so high up. That must have been a sore landing.
Is that going up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which way? Door? Ladder? Door?
Why would there be a ladder and a door? I go up the ladder. Stay within and then maybe go back down.
Disgusting. It was a mess of filthy garbage bags. There were rips and tears in most of the bags. What looked like an old videotape was sticking out. Did I take the tape?
Yes.
I wasn't sure what I hoped to discover with the tape, but I took it anyway. I'm just checking up now because we can't see the top.
Right. Now we go through the door.
I could hear a faint trickling sound like water. What was that? A kitchen knife covered in drying blood. Thinking about it made me sick. I didn't even want to touch it. Did I take the knife?
Well, if you didn't take the gun, okay. Let's take the knife. Yep.
Somehow the knife seemed a better idea than the gun in that tunnel.
Duh.
The door was locked. There was a musty smell from inside. I wasn't sure, but I thought it was some kind of regulator. I had no idea how it worked.
Press the button.
I wasn't sure what those valves were for. Did I turn it anyway? Want to investigate more first?
Yeah, please.
I left the valve alone. We might be able to still turn it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, valve 2, 3, and 4. Probably the same message.
All right, that's good to know. So there's more than one valve.
Might have to do with like sewage treatment or something. It was a rusty ladder sunk into the water, which smelled disgusting. I knew I couldn't climb down that. Maybe I could find a way to drain the putrid water.
Well, I think you just answered the question. Let's go and turn them all 4 of them. Yes, you did.
Turn off all?
Yeah, let's turn them all. At least you don't have to wait for the whole message if you know what you're going to be.
It is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
No message. What?
Blood marks from where the knife was.
Right, because you picked up the knife.
So...
Now, if you go back to the exit, there shouldn't be that message that pops up.
What? But the water valves...
Turn them off, though.
Yeah, I did, but they didn't drain the water.
Yeah. So keep it off. If you go back to the exit... Oh.
Okay. I'll go back to the exit. I'm not sure what you want me to look for.
The message won't pop up
What message?
the first time. I won't even let you go by.
There's water there. No,
Oh, okay.
we never drained the water. So we gotta figure out how to drain it. Oh, did I not turn that one before? Maybe it has to turn more. Oh yeah, I never turned them all the way.
Okay.
There we go. That's probably off. Oh no, look at the little symbols behind them. It shows how they need to line up.
Mm-hmm. Good catch. Yeah, that one's okay. That one has to be down.
Yeah, it makes the pumping sound go away. I'm sure that we have viewers that are looking at it going, no,
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
you morons.
Dun, da, 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 da.
Looked like the water drained out of that grate in the wall. There was a small metal key left floating in the shallow pool of rancid water. Did I take it?
Yes, you did.
Pocketed the small key, but it was so odd-shaped, I had no idea what it might open. The safety poster had definitely seen better days. How old was that facility? Door was...
Locked.
The door was locked. I could see a faint light within.
Security camera?
There's a security camera in the room. There must have been a way to see what happened. Maybe the VHS tape I found could be useful. Found another dead body. A sewer worker. By the wounds all over his face and body, I figured he'd been stabbed repeatedly. There was a key ring sticking out of the man's pocket. Did I take it?
Yes, you did.
I thought about the knife I had found with some disgust as I carefully picked the keys from his pocket. I was almost worried he was going to grab me. There was a hint of fresh air here. It must have been near an exit, but I wondered, what did the key I found on the sewer worker do? And what was on the videotape I found? This must have been the other end of that ventilation shaft. Whoever used it could have gotten past that flooded room with this.
Mm-hmm.
As I slowly climbed the ladder, I felt the knife in my boot and the jolting pain in my leg. I wondered what was on the VHS tape I found or in the locked room. Should I have gone back to check?
Wait a minute, wasn't there a door that was locked?
As I popped the latch above me, the dank scent of the pine trees pushed aside the horrible smell of those sewers. The lid had fallen on the entrance. It was stuck shut.
Oh, no, can't go back.
Lost opportunity. An old ladder leading up to the ancient water tower. The ladder needed to be extended so I could climb it. Did I extend the ladder?
Sure.
I popped the latch and brought the ladder down.
More bats. Huh.
In a patch of smeared dirt and grass, there was a beat-up old wallet. I thought it was mine. Did I take it?
Mm-hmm.
I folded the wallet and returned it to my back pocket. It looked nice, or it looked nicked up somehow, and really worn. There weren't any cards or ID in it. I thought I should recover my credit card and driver's license at least.
Yeah, you would think.
I don't know if I want to investigate that or not. Did I put this up here, or was it somebody else carrying it? Huh.
Came up here for...
From the railing I could see over the woods and down to the entrance to the sewers. Had I come through here before? If I did, someone definitely could have seen me. That first comment was him commenting on finding the wallet.
Okay.
We tried the little key I had finished. I had fished out of the murky puddle in the sewers. It fit, and I heaved open the rusty door. So yeah, we wouldn't have been able to go back. The wind was picking up a bit. The night air had become strangely chilly.
So if we didn't have the key, where would we be going by now?
Right? What I'm saying is I don't think that going back in the sewers would have actually fixed anything.
All right.
I don't think we missed out on much.
No.
The old train station was quiet as a tomb. The only sound was that of the increasing wind buffeting the decrepit structure.
You know, it's strange. I don't see any light switches.
The ancient ticket booth was falling apart and covered in dust and grime. Stacks of paper lined the counter, faded remains of old schedules and reports. Among the papers were newer-looking sheets covered in scribbles and illegible notes. Come to think of it, the man in that house had kept similar scribbles hidden on his bookshelf, and he had notes on the water tower outside, too. I guess he could have been coming here, but why? What was he using the old station for?
Was that the door we came in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh.
An old map encased in glass hung on the wall. It was the train routes connected to the old station. As I looked at it, it seemed familiar. Of course, the map I found in those tunnels had similar locations marked, and the notes I found on the other man's bookshelf. His notes mentioned the water tower and even this train yard. What was he doing coming back here? Out the back door. In the torn... As I looked closer, I could see that it was definitely some kind of nylon, maybe a windbreaker or something, some other outdoor clothing. There was too much of a mess on the ground to see any kind of footprints, but someone or something had definitely trod a regular path. The wind was biting through my thin clothes, and I wasn't sure what else to make of the place. All right.
Is that a lock?
No, we went through there before.
Oh, we haven't gone through here yet.
This must have been the entrance to the forest that was mentioned on that map I had seen. Whoever was poking around in those tunnels underneath the man's house had scribbled notes on this place, but I couldn't make them out. Here, the sign pointed out various campsites and walking paths within the woods. It mentioned a river and maybe a washroom, but the rest was too faded to see clearly. Oh, we went through.
Oh, okay. What is that?
Yeah, so there's separate paths.
Okay.
Trampled into the dirt and grass was a plastic card of some kind. I brushed it off. I was surprised to see it was my credit card.
Oh.
I wasn't sure if it was still usable, but it was mine. Did I take back my credit card?
Yes, you did.
I pocketed the credit card. Hopefully I could find my driver's license too. Through the fence I could see a dilapidated outbuilding. I wonder if I could find my way around. There was a fire pit here. It was still a bit warm and a few embers still burned at the bottom. Was someone else out in those woods? Why did they abandon their campsite? The cheap dome tent slept 2 people. I shone my flashlight inside. I could see some bedrolls, 2 backpacks, and a cooler.
Oh, I just figured out that you have a flashlight.
I guess that's true. Alright, so these are the... Oh, no, these aren't the 2.
No, don't go.
Don't look.
Washer.
The grimy sink had a small patch in it that looked almost clean. A musty wooden plank propped up the the stall door. It didn't really seem useful. Did I bother to take it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure why, but I took the plank. Oh. The washroom stall was filthy and disgusting. I wanted to get away as quickly as possible.
I bet.
Does this take us back to... Nope. The sign was the same as the first one I had seen. This must have been the exit to the other side of the woods. Oh. I'd finally found the exit. Once I left, I knew I never wanted to return there.
Yeah.
Finding that campsite had been strangely unsettling. I couldn't imagine why anyone would abandon their site in the middle of the night, especially in the dark forest. I was relieved at least to finally be out of there. Even now, as I peered through the dense trees, I could see cracks of light and a bit of the land beyond. I must have been getting closer to town, but where exactly was I?
For a guy that's injured, he should walk pretty well.
I don't think he's severely injured. As I stepped through the gate, I suddenly recognized the auto parts factory, where I had worked as a machinist for all those years. The plant had closed almost 3 years ago now. Times were better then. I thought I could hear a faint rustling behind me. Maybe it was just the wind. Want to go in?
No, let's go into the shop first.
Huh?
Let's go in the shop. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well the door didn't lock behind us.
Okay. All right. Let's go out then. Well, at least we know that we can.
One of the lockers hung open. Its contents were tossed around like someone had been looking for something. Well, there was a large power box with 5 lights on it. Cables burst out of the box, snaking off into other parts of the factory. The metal was starting to wear and cobwebs had collected in the corners. The box wasn't receiving power. Door was locked. Every part of this plant smelled old and rotted. I noticed the old bulletin board on the wall. The board contained yellow clippings of newspaper cartoons and notices. There were notes to and from the guys that worked here. One of them was to Norman, who was one of the older guys on the line. Our old break table. The layers of dust and grime only made seeing this sting more. A power panel. Looked like it was shut off. Did I push the switch?
Yes. Yes.
The open locker was stuffed with dirty work clothes and old boots. There was a photo of a woman taped to the inside, but it was scratched out, and the face was unrecognizable.
Huh.
Oh. Shut tight. This was Norman's locker. The door was dented like someone had punched it. I don't remember him doing that when he worked there. Another panel. A utility shelf crammed with mismatched tools and items. There was a claw hammer on the shelf. Did I take the hammer?
Yes.
As I took the hammer, I noticed it wasn't as dusty as the rest of the tools on the shelf. Okay.
Oh, look at that.
I think that's all 5 of them.
I believe so. Yeah, because there was a indication of 5.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a different sound now. You can hear the humming. But I still don't see any lights on.
We broke open that door.
Look at that.
This was my locker. There in the factory. It stank of booze. There was a picture of Rachel on the inside. Oh.
Oh.
This room was nothing but bad memories. The Floor was littered with old liquor bottles. I wonder if that man in the house had something to do with this. He sure had a lot of alcohol at his place. Door open.
Okay.
There was a small patch of smeared dirt on the floor. A large pile of building materials and debris blocked the way.
You have nothing to move it, eh?
A rusted old regulator of some kind sat dusty and unused against the wall. Planks of tools, broken up parts blocked the passage further. Power box looked like it was running again. Oh.
Is that door open now?
Yep.
Did that door open before?
Oh, a rack of flashlights hung on the wall. One of them was missing.
Because you have it. Maybe.
Why do we have it?
I have no idea.
My head pounded as I stepped back outside, once again enveloped in the scents of pine trees and muck. The path beyond was terribly dark, and I was grateful that my flashlight was still working. I wondered, though, was it taken from the plant? It sure seemed to. But how did I get a hold of it?
Mm-hmm.
I had little choice but to follow the path and hope that it would get me back to town. I wondered. Norman had his store along the main road. Was he close? If he was, I could certainly use some help. Rusty old truck had careened off the road and into the guardrail. His front was crushed and the windows had all smashed. Judging by the rust, it had been there a while.
All right, through the gate.
The garbage bin was a disgusting mess of rotten food and slick black bags. I saw a thin greenish corner poking out from one of the bags. It was my driver's license. It looked damaged. Did I take it back?
Yes.
I cleaned the card off as best as I could. It looked pretty beat up. I was amazed to have found my credit card, and now this. I tucked the card into my wallet next to my credit card. Sounded like it was going to start raining again. I had entered Norman's place. This was the back of the store that he ran. It was oddly quiet, except for the faint sound of a television. The entrance to the front of the store was locked from the inside. It looked like I couldn't just pop it open. I needed a key. There was a bit of blood on the keyhole.
Rain jacket.
What the hell? One of Rachel's old autumn coats hung on the rack. That was Norman's bedroom, wasn't it? What was this doing here? There was a well-maintained gun cabinet in Norman's room. I didn't know much about guns, but it looked like he kept a few hunting rifles. Wonder if that's the gun from before.
Maybe it would have said that one of them's missing or something.
Maybe. TV still flickered, some indecipherable channel. Oh no, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Norman, my coworker and one of my few friends I had in this town, lay dead beside his armchair. His face and shirt were covered in blood. It looked like he'd been stabbed or something trying to get up. His eyes were still wide with shock. Norman, what was Rachel doing here? Why did you have her coat? Norman, maybe you deserve better. You probably did. Did I close his eyes?
Yes.
I closed his eyelids down, shuddering as I did. I wasn't sure if I wanted to give him peace or if I just couldn't stand to think any more about what was going on. I guess this was Norman's kitchen table. He kept it clean enough, but there were water rings from 2 cups still in the wood. Kitchen trash bin smelled fresh. I didn't dig through the mess, did I?
Why would you want to do that? You know what? Why not? We're here.
Found a hairpin amongst the rotting food and trash and pocketed it.
The key.
Your takeout containers and food scraps looked like Norman was eating for 2.
I wonder, can I speculate?
Hmm.
I'm thinking Rachel came here to run away from you.
Well, I used the hairpin to pick the lock. The hairpin snapped in half, so I threw it away.
But the door opened.
The general store was small, but it was clean. I had the usual things: postcards, snacks, magazines, and canned goods. I never went there much. Rachel usually stopped by after work if we needed anything. The register was mostly empty, and a fat stack of travel magazines sat beside it. The icebox seemed to be unplugged. It must have been off for a while. Most of the contents were half melted. There were various postcards from the area, especially from the tourist traps. One of the postcards showed an old black and white photo of the water tower. It looked to be in much better shape then. What else would I be forced to endure before the end? Seeing Norman up there, dead, it turned my stomach just to think of it, but I couldn't put it out of my mind. How was he involved in all this? This was getting worse and worse. I was starting to feel incredibly vulnerable. As I stepped out into the rain, I realized how close I was to home. I hoped I would soon find my answers. It's a lot of gates.
Mm-hmm. Where are they?
I'll go to them. I'm just checking the end first.
Mm-hmm. Just in case.
Yeah, it's a dead end.
Right.
Okay.
Well, let's do this systematically. Door number 1.
I think so. It was locked. That wasn't the right gate. Gate was locked.
Okay. I wonder if that has to do with the decisions that you make throughout the game.
Maybe. That's a good observation. I never thought of it. The neighborhood's local postbox. A letter was sticking out as if someone hadn't pushed it all the way in. I knew it wasn't right, but did I look at the letter?
Mm-hmm.
There was no return address, but the envelope was addressed to Norman. Carefully, I tore it open and looked at the letter inside. It read, "Stay away. She's mine." That was it. No signature. No other information.
Huh.
Okay. I had the wrong gate. I had entered our backyard. The rain gave me a terrible sense of foreboding, and it chilled me through my clothes. I was expectant, but also afraid.
Oh, so we're home. Maybe.
I held my breath as I approached our back door. I was terrified to step inside. The house was painfully quiet. The only sound was my own breathing, ragged and strained. I flicked the light switch by the door. The power was off. I remember having breakfast here on this very table. Was that yesterday or sometime before? The door to the basement, it was locked. Where had I put the damn key? There was a small pile of mail on the floor in front of the mail slot. How long had I been away? Why hadn't Rachel picked this up? Most of the contents were bills. There was a credit card bill there. Did I open it?
Mm-hmm.
I ripped the bill open and read it. To my surprise, it said something about canceling my credit card due to non-payment. What the hell? The front door was locked from inside. I couldn't go out, though I needed to see if Rachel was here anyway. The door was stuck shut. There was an old-fashioned keyhole underneath the handle. I had found the last missing piece of my wallet, the old photo of Rachel, and I stared back at me, reminding me of better times. It didn't make me feel terribly comfortable. Did I keep it anyway?
Yep.
I replaced the photo in my wallet, feeling like I had gotten part of my life back. Still, the image made me uneasy. Why had I thrown it away? Our television I had purchased it before I knew I was going to lose my job. I felt pretty guilty about it afterwards, but then it was too late.
Nice TV. Yeah, you want to go up, don't you?
Yeah. Couldn't remember if I checked that door or not. Then it occurred to me that I had.
Well, that's how we came in. Didn't we?
We came up the stairs.
Oh.
The books here were half mine, half Rachel's. Hey, now that I looked more closely, it looked like the man in that house had some of the same books as I did. There's a suitcase on the bed. It was Rachel's. I remember it from the trip we took out west. Did I open the suitcase?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't sure what to make of the suitcase's contents. Inside were a few days' worth of clothes, some toiletries, and a train ticket. Where was she planning to go?
This is getting interesting.
Our hallway mirror had been smashed, its pieces scattered around the floor. Our sink, which needed to be replaced, one of the taps was stuck, but I hadn't gotten around fixing it yet. We were lucky enough to get a house with one of those wonderful old claw-footed bathtubs. Don't really care for those personally.
It does look nice in the proper setting.
It does look nice, but it's not really practical. My laptop had been left on and only a tiny bit of power left. On the screen was a website about the old water tower. There's a key in the top drawer of my desk. Did I take it?
Yes.
Pocketed the key. Alright, now we got a couple of doors we can try and open.
Basement or front door? Basement.
Try the door over here first with the old-fashioned key.
Right.
Door was stuck shut. Yeah, can't open that. I unlocked the basement door. There were old Christmas decorations in the box. The garbage bags were stuffed with old paint cans and supplies. There was a dirty old key here. Did I take it?
Yes.
I took the small key and tried to remember what it unlocked. There were old clothes, tools, and other things we obviously hadn't thrown out yet. I had put up this divider wall last summer so we could create a separate room in the basement. I hadn't finished it yet, so the door was stuck and the drywall was poorly installed. I might have been able to break through it if I found something heavy enough. Grimy key I had found in the basement unlocked the door. It looked like the room had been tossed around. The furniture was a mess. Did somebody break in here? There's an old crowbar on the floor. Did I
Yes, you did.
need to take the crowbar? I lifted the heavy crowbar. I appreciated its weight.
Back to the basement, Jeeves.
Did I break through the wall with the crowbar? The heave, I swung the crowbar at the wall. I smashed a hole large enough to step through. As I stepped through the broken wall, my breath caught in my throat. This was it. Was Rachel down there? Was she okay?
This is your house?
I guess so. Don't look. A filthy-looking pile of rags had been dumped on the corner. The stench of them was awful and made my eyes water. I was terrified to even touch the pile to see what lay within, but I knew I had to. I had come this far. After all this searching, after all I had seen, when I looked within the rags, did I finally find my Rachel?
I'm gonna say no.
No?
Did you find her?
Did we find her? It's asking us to decide if we found her.
I'm gonna say no.
The rags were wet, matted, covered in dirt and grime, but inside that tattered mess was no sign of my beloved wife. Rachel wasn't there. I looked around in confusion, trying to figure out what to do next. If she wasn't there, where was she? What had I been searching for this entire time? I'd remembered the look on Rachel's face when I came home, didn't I? Then the awful realization hit me right in the gut. I had been looking at this the wrong way, hadn't I? This is what you've been trying to tell me all along, isn't it? I couldn't find Rachel there, and I won't find her anywhere else because she was never there at all, was she? I stumbled back upstairs, the pain in my leg just a dull ache now, and sat down in my bedroom. My mind was spinning, and the ache I felt before was near crippling. Finally, I could no longer fight the exhaustion, and as I tried to grab a hold of something that would make sense of all this, I must have drifted off. I guess these books were all actually mine then. It was my wallet, with its contents intact. Either I dropped that stuff or somebody else did. Maybe I was sleepwalking again, or maybe somebody stole it from me. Norman's store, that forest, the water tower. Was I at those places before? Yeah? I didn't see how it could have happened any other way. I must have been the one to lose my wallet and its contents. What does that mean? In In the shards of the broken mirror, I could see my face, gaunt, now hollow and sickly, and immensely troubled. What other illusions had I dreamed up? What other truths were waiting to be exposed? Laptop had finally run out of power. Oh. It was the letter I had taken from the postbox. It had gotten a bit wet in the rain. Somebody had obviously had it out for Norman, but who? Oh no, Norman. If I was wrong about Rachel, then what about him? Did I kill him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah? You think we did?
I think you did.
I must have, but why? Did we fight? Or was I tricked into thinking he was sneaking around with Rachel? Damn it. What was happening to me? I still had no idea what was on that tape I found in the garbage. If only I'd found a way to watch it. I had that old TV for so long, I don't know if I could ever replace it.
What was your videotape?
The old VCR had long since broken down and I'd never bothered to replace it.
Hit it go. Because he had, the security tape still, doesn't he?
Seemed like I had seen all there was. Maybe I thought I was ready to go back into the basement. Maybe there wouldn't be anything for me to find, but I had to take one last look. I was guilty. I couldn't take this to a warm, safe place and do something about it. Did I pick up the knife?
Yeah.
I took the knife and kept it firmly in my hand. The wall was cracked and pitted. I was told by an inspector the basement had been partially filled in before I bought the house. By the look of the wall, I was going to need to fix the foundation. Everything smelled musty and old down there. The pile of mail on the floor I now saw was addressed to me. Bills, credit card offers, a letter from the bank, they were all addressed to me. I knew I needed to escape that nightmare. But what about the knife I still carried? I wondered, even if I left, would it really be over? So did I leave the house forever?
Yeah.
Since I had arrived in town, things had been difficult. Working in the plant, though, had been good for me. It kept me in line, gave me something to do, and helped me get away from my past. When the factory closed, everything changed. I guess that was when I had started sleepwalking, disappearing for hours at a time. Drinking was probably just a way to deal with it. It was almost as if I was trying to beat my brain at its own game. Things stopped making sense sometime after that. And my memories of what happened are still in flux. I suppose that was when Rachel came along. This night had been the worst of my entire life. Wouldn't even be possible to bounce back from everything that had happened, everything I'd seen. You know, in a way, I almost wish I hadn't even woken up tonight. It would have spared me a lot of pain. For starters, the man I had found in the old place, who had killed him, and why was I even there? What happened in those dank sewers? I was lucky in my own way to even find my way out of there. But I never did find out what was on that tape that I now kept. Considering all I had learned tonight, I wasn't sure I wanted to. And what had I been doing at Norman's place, or even in the old forest? Didn't look good, that's for sure. Had I been responsible for what had happened there? What do you think? Was I guilty, or was I just mad? The forest especially was a difficult maze, and I would rest easier if I never saw its like again. The old factory used to be a heaven, or a haven of sorts, but when I saw it tonight, it was anything but. Those faded walls, those long dead sounds, they had stirred something in the back of my mind, but I wasn't sure what. Who had been in that boarded up room anyway? I had to catch my breath to take it all in. At each point, until the factory, things had only gotten worse. But then, going to Norman's store, that's where the confusion and doubt started to set in. That's when my perspective on all this really started to change. But Norman, it was clearly I who had ended your life. Whether you were a miserable bastard and deserved it, or whether you were innocent, well, that would be for someone else to decide. Maybe you knew the truth that I only know, or that I only now understand. Maybe that's why I came to you. But as painful as all of that was, oh no, I couldn't bear to think about it again. After all I had seen and done, finally coming home was supposed to be the end to this entire ordeal. I had no idea, though, that it was only the beginning. When I had first stepped through the kitchen door, the silence had been unnerving, but to think that I went through all of that completely unaware of what I would discover. I had killed Norman, thinking that he and, well, that there was something going on. Everything that I held dear and true was now spinning around me. I had nothing to ground me, nothing to give me purpose or even the faintest hope of reason. Without Rachel, without what I thought was Rachel, I was lost forever. As the door swung open, I could smell the damp grass and the closeness of the air. After everything, it felt like I had more questions than answers. You made me see the truth, I'll give you that. But now I was completely lost. You took away the only thing that had kept me going. I was sure the word would get out, and soon enough the police would come looking for me. And what then? Would you be there to show me the way? What will I do then?
So it still didn't confirm. So it all depended on what you did, as you were mentioning.
Yeah. It's actually a really brilliant little indie game.
Mm-hmm.
Because it makes you think a lot.
It's one of those... I'm starting to see a pattern here where it's like, is this real?
Well, it's an easy thing to do, right? It's interesting, though, that it comes kind of full circle. The first time I beat it...
Home is dedicated to my wife, Nancy. Watch your back.
The first time I beat it, I got a completely different outcome.
Right. Well, each one's probably different. What did your outcome become?
I can't remember because it was it was at least a year ago when I played it, but it was similar. I don't think that I framed him for any of it, and I didn't pick up any of the items.
Mm-hmm.
So in the end, you didn't know what happened. It was a little bit more happy and not as much sad.
Okay.
Mine was a little bit more melancholy.
I knew it was me.
There's multiple stories. Maybe we'll revisit again in the future and try something else.
Why not?
Until then,
pretty fair.
Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. Remember to give us a thumbs up if you like the video. It'll help more people see it. Follow us on Facebook or Twitter. Leave us some comments below so we know your thoughts. Have you played this game before? Would you like to see us play it again down the road and maybe see if it'll turn out differently? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to be part of our awesome community. And remember, until next time,
don't touch that pixel.
Don't touch that pixel.